Welcome to Dietrich Knowledge Capsule. We are jumping straight into a topic that, well, it's been absolutely central for the past few years, hasn't it? But its future. That's way bigger than most people think. We're talking mRNA technology.
Yeah.
And for you, our listener, who shared this fantastic set of sources, we're doing a deep dive today that really goes beyond just the infectious disease vaccines we all know. Our mission here is to pull out the most crucial bits about mRNA's huge, truly transformative potential in areas like personalized medicine, genetics, regenerative health, and really importantly, look at how the regulatory side is evolving to actually support all this.
Yeah, it really is the next chapter, isn't it? I mean, mRNA went from being this quite niche research idea to a genuine global healthcare force incredibly quickly. And the reason it's so versatile, the key to its power, is that core mechanism. It uses the body's own cells, its own machinery, to make therapeutic proteins inside the body. You're basically giving cells a temporary instruction manual to make their own medicine.
Programming the body itself.
Exactly. And you see that versatility reflected in the market forecasts. Our sources are pointing to a global mRNA therapeutics market hitting something like $42.6 billion by 2034. That's a growth rate of around 8.3% per year. So the market clearly sees huge future potential, not just reacting to the pandemic success.
And you can absolutely see that confidence reflected in the regulatory actions, too. I mean, look at Moderna's RSV vaccine, mRESVIR. It got FDA approval for older adults, 60 plus, in May 2024. But then, pretty quickly, by September 2025, that approval was expanded to cover adults 18 to 59 who are at higher risk. That kind of rapid label expansion, well, it says a lot about the growing trust in the platform itself.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where is this tech really pushing the boundaries now?
Right. Well, if you look at the real cutting edge, probably the most revolutionary area is oncology, specifically personalized cancer immunotherapies. This is a huge shift. We're moving from treating cancer generally to treating your specific cancer. That sounds incredibly precise. We know cancer is notoriously tricky, good at hiding from the immune system. So how does mRNA actually manage that level of personalization against a specific tumor?
It's tailor-made, essentially. These mRNA cancer vaccines are designed to target what are called tumor-specific neoantigens, unique flags, basically, on that specific patient's cancer cells. So you give the mRNA and it tells the immune system, look for these specific flags and attack those cells. It's a highly targeted instruction set.
A custom-built weapon for the immune system.
Pretty much. And the field is moving so fast. You've got BioNTech, Moderna. They're already in advanced trials for tough cancers like melanoma, colorectal, non-small cell lung cancer. And often the strategy involves combining these vaccines with existing drugs like checkpoint inhibitors to sort of take the brakes off the immune system and really maximize that T-cell attack the mRNA triggers.
Wow. Training the body to fight its own unique cancer.
Yeah.
That's profound. But the sources also talk about something completely different, genetic and metabolic disorders. Here, the goal isn't immune training. It's more like protein replacement, right?
Exactly. It's using mRNA to get the body to produce proteins that are missing or just not working correctly because of a genetic mutation.
Like the Sanofi and Translate Bio program mentioned in the sources, trying to get lung cells in cystic fibrosis patients to make the functional CFTR protein they're missing.
Precisely that. And it applies to a whole range of rare metabolic diseases too, things like propionic acidemia, where maybe an essential enzyme is missing due to an inherited defect. The mRNA aims to provide the instructions for making that functional enzyme.
Okay, so it's filling a gap, essentially.
Yeah. Right. And, it's worth clarifying something here because it sometimes causes confusion when people talk about RNA therapies. You might hear about drugs like patisiran. That's also an RNA therapy, but it's different. It's RNA interference, or siRNA. siRNA works by silencing a problematic gene. mRNA, on the other hand, works by instructing the production of a new protein. They're fundamentally different tools using RNA.
That's a really key distinction.
Yeah.
siRNA shuts down, mRNA builds up. Got it. So moving beyond replacement, the sources also touch on repair regenerative medicine.
Yeah, that's another exciting frontier. The idea here is using mRNA to accelerate tissue repair, often by encoding growth factors. A good example is Moderna's preclinical work using mRNA that codes for VEGF-T series. That's a growth factor that helps build new blood vessels. They're exploring if this could help regenerate tissue, maybe stimulate blood vessel growth in hearts damaged by ischemia, lack of blood flow.
And that's attracting big partnerships too, right? Like the AstraZeneca-Moderna collaboration mentioned.
Absolutely. Big Pharma is definitely interested in that potential. And then even earlier stage, you see research into using mRNA for autoimmune disorders. The concept there is sort of the opposite of a vaccine, using mRNA to encode specific autoantigens to try and teach the immune system tolerance to stop it from attacking the body's own tissues. Still very early days for that, though.
Okay, so we've got precision cancer killing, genetic protein replacement, tissue regeneration. It's an incredible range. That versatility must be a massive draw for the industry.
Hey.
If you had to pinpoint the biggest single benefit driving all this investment right now, what would it be?
Well, based on both the commercial appeal and what we saw with the pandemic, I'd have to say speed. The sheer speed of design and manufacturing is like the platform's superpower. Being able to go from sequencing a new virus or a patient's tumor antigen to potentially having a therapeutic candidate in weeks, that's revolutionary. It's vital for pandemics, obviously, but also for personalized cancer treatment where time is critical.
And that speed ties into the versatility you mentioned too, doesn't it? The idea that one manufacturing setup could potentially handle cancer treatments, infectious disease vaccines, genetic therapies.
Exactly. That single platform potential simplifies things immensely internally. Another huge plus, especially from a safety and regulatory angle, is its non-integrating nature. Unlike some gene therapies that use DNA, the mRNA is temporary. It does its job and then it degrades fairly quickly. It doesn't insert itself into your genome.
Which avoids that whole risk of accidentally causing mutations down the line.
Right. It significantly lowers the risk of what's called insertional mutagenesis. That's a major safety advantage.
Definitely a key selling point. And there was one more benefit mentioned, connecting human health to something broader. One, health applications.
Yeah, that's a really interesting angle that often gets overlooked. We're already seeing mRNA vaccines being developed for livestock, think cattle, poultry, targeting things like avian flu or bovine respiratory disease. This helps food security, sure, but for the technology itself, it provides massive scale validation of the manufacturing, the stability, the delivery systems.
So success in cows and chickens actually builds confidence for human use.
In a way, yes. It helps prove out the platform on a huge scale, which can indirectly speed up regulatory comfort for similar human applications.
Okay, that's the compelling upside. But let's get to the reality check. These are amazing possibilities, but the engineering challenges must be pretty significant. What are the big hurdles companies are racing to overcome?
Oh, absolutely. It's not easy. Probably the biggest, most persistent challenge right now is targeted delivery. The main delivery system uses these little fat bubbles called lipid nanoparticles, or LNPs. They're great at protecting the mRNA and getting it into cells generally, but they're not exactly GPS guided.
Meaning they don't always go precisely where you want them to.
Exactly. They tend to accumulate quite heavily in the liver, for example, which is fine if you're targeting the liver, but less ideal if you want to regenerate heart tissue or target a specific tumor somewhere else. This lack of precision tissue targeting is a major bottleneck for many applications. Plus, the LNPs themselves can sometimes trigger unwanted immune reactions.
So getting the message to the right cells is still a major focus. What else?
Well, linked to that is stability. The mRNA molecule itself is inherently fragile. It's designed to be temporary in the cell to break down quickly.
Which leads to the whole cold chain issue we saw with the COVID vaccine.
Precisely. It requires that ultra-cold storage, which is a logistical nightmare for global distribution. Companies use chemical modifications to make the mRNA last longer, but inherent instability is still a core challenge they're working on.
Okay, delivery and stability. Anything else?
Yeah, another consideration is repeat dosing. For chronic conditions where you might need ongoing treatment, there's a potential issue. The immune system could start reacting not just to the LNP delivery vehicle, but maybe even to the therapeutic protein being produced over time. That could limit long-term use.
An immune response against the medicine itself.
Potentially, yes. And finally, even with improvements, manufacturing cost is still significant. Making this stuff at pharmaceutical grade, ensuring purity and consistency at scale, it's still a complex and expensive process. AI and better platforms are helping, but cost is definitely a factor.
Right, so you've got this incredibly powerful, versatile tech, but it needs precise delivery, it's inherently unstable, needs careful handling, and can be costly to make. How on earth are regulators keeping up? They can't treat a personalized cancer vaccine like a standard flu shot, surely.
No, they can't. And the regulatory frameworks are adapting quite rapidly, actually. In the U.S., you've got the FDA's Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research, CBER, handling these. They use the established pathways for advanced therapies, IND applications to start trials, BLA submissions for full approval, plus ongoing safety monitoring. Similarly, the European Medicines Agency, the EMA, treats mRNA therapies as biological medicines, applying rigorous standards for quality, safety, and efficacy.
So they're using existing structures but adapting them.
Largely, yes. But the real game changer globally came from the World Health Organization. In 2021, their Expert Committee on Biological Standardization, the ECBS, issued guidance. It stressed manufacturing consistency, quality control, all crucial things. But the most important part was explicitly recognizing mRNA as a platform technology.
Okay, that phrase platform technology sounds significant. What does that actually mean in practice for a company developing a new mRNA drug?
This raises an important question about how data can be leveraged. If regulators view the core mRNA structure, the manufacturing basics, the LNP delivery as a consistent platform, then, well, knowledge gained from reviewing one mRNA
It's
product.
like an infectious disease vaccine.
Exactly. That knowledge could potentially inform and, crucially, maybe even expedite the review of a completely different mRNA product using the same underlying platform, maybe an oncology therapy, for instance.
So they don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time for the basic platform components.
That's the idea. It allows for potentially focusing the review more intensely on the new parts, the specific mRNA sequence, the clinical data for the new disease, rather than reevaluating every single aspect of the platform from scratch. It could significantly streamline development timelines.
And is this idea catching on globally?
It seems to be. We're seeing national regulators in places like Asia and the Middle East aligning their own guidelines with these FDA, EMA, and WHO frameworks. They're getting ready for this technology to become much more widespread, anticipating faster pathways.
That has been incredibly illuminating. Okay, let's try and pull the main threads together for everyone listening. We've seen mRNA rapidly moving beyond vaccines into really complex areas. Highly personalized oncology, aiming to fix genetic disorders by making missing proteins, and even regenerative medicine to repair tissues. But we've also heard that making this widespread reality hinges on cracking those engineering challenges, getting much better at targeted delivery with those LNPs, and improving the molecule stability to ease the cold chain burden.
Absolutely. And connecting all that, you have the regulatory world adapting, starting to treat mRNA as this versatile platform. That shift is really paving the way for it to become a true cornerstone of how we develop medicines over the next decade.
It feels like a pivotal moment.
It really does. So maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. If regulators around the world fully embrace this platform technology concept for mRNA, allowing for faster evaluations, how might that accelerated approach change the whole timeline for developing all kinds of advanced therapies? Not just mRNA, but what precedent does it set for gene therapies or engineered cell therapies down the road? Could this fundamentally speed up innovation across the board? Something to think about.